I'm Kaya Lawrence with Gigantic Studios, and we're behind the scenes with our production coordinator, David Malley.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Awesome. So, explain to our Outlaw Johnny Black fans what exactly a production coordinator does on the film.
Well, a production coordinator has the very exciting job of the administrative part of it. I get to do all the paperwork. So I do everything from, making us good with unions to ordering equipment, to doing cast physicals, making sure everybody's healthy and all that good stuff. And that kind of paperwork, basically.
You have an extensive resume in this department: Rocky Balboa, Road to Perdition, even hit TV series like True Blood and Parks and Recreation. How would you compare such big productions with your current experience coordinating Outlaw Johnny Black?
Well, the great thing about doing smaller movies like this is I get to do a lot more. I get to wear a lot more hats. I get to interact with actors and producers a lot more. On bigger movies, you tend to be just kind of a cog in the wheel there, and you just kind of do what you're told. Where here, people are listening and talking to you and engaging you. So it's a lot more interesting. And
well, by the way, True Blood is one of my favorite shows. I love that show very much.
Yeah, I don't get to do the first season. So.
Okay, it's the best season. So now this is an insider question. Tell me about any unusual requests you've had to handle from actors in the past in regards to their needs on set. You don't have to tell me names, but I'm sure you have encountered some interesting asks.
I actually, not really.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, actors have always been relatively cool. At the end of one show I worked on, we had asked the lead actress if she wanted any of the wardrobe because we'd had it all specially made. And she said no, so we started boxing it up. And literally the day we were shipping it out, she called and said, "Yeah, can you bring all that over to my house and I'll go through it." So that that was kind of weird. But that's like the biggest thing.
Okay, all right. Have you discovered any big differences in coordinating a Western versus other genres of film or even TV shows?
I think this one's going to be a little trickier than others because I think there's a lot more moving parts, and especially with a smaller budget, we're doing a lot more juggling and finessing. Whereas movies that were bigger or TV shows are just like, here's the money, go. Generally speaking, they'll just kind of throw money at it.
Okay. So you did another period piece, Road to Perdition, starring Tom Hanks and directed by the great Sam Mendes. Was there anything specific you learned on that production that you will be able to bring to Outlaw Johnny Black?
That's an interesting question. One thing they had to do that I found fascinating was in Road to Perdition, they had these Tommy guns. So these, the kind of the big old gangster guns with the cartridges. And you can't fly those out. You actually have to drive them out. And in certain states, you have to get permits to actually drive that gun through. So you have to, it's kind of a crazy thing. So with all the guns that we're going to have on this show, that'll be fascinating to see how that plays out. Even though all the guns will be local, I don't think we'll have any permit issues. I just think with all the different guns and things that we're using on this show, that'll be fun to see.
Okay, very cool. I'm going to try and touch one, but hopefully I won't get in trouble.
Right.
So Outlaw Johnny Black is casting over 300 extras for this film. That is insane.
Yeah.
How do you coordinate such a large group of extras?
Well, luckily I don't. we hire an extras casting person who will then work with the ADs and the producers to get the look, and the director obviously, to get the look and the feel for the extras.
All right.
So yeah, that's out of my hands. I get to,
Awesome. So finally, I gotta know, how and what are you going to feed all these people on set?
Well, that's another producer question. So they get to hire a catering truck, and then I know Donovan and Grant have worked really hard at finding. With such a limited budget, you want to make sure the crew's happy, so you find a really good caterer, and they found a couple really good people that are gonna take care of the crew and really feed them well. And also we have a great craft service person who walks around with trays of food. I've worked with him on a couple of movies, and he'll make sure everybody's fed.
That's good. Make sure everyone's happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Well, thank you, David, for giving me a sneak peek into your department.
You're welcome.
We will be back with David as production continues. Such a pleasure meeting you, and good luck with those awkward requests.
Thank you. Yeah, my mother-in-law was a huge fan, or still is a huge fan, and wanted to meet her. So one day when we were shooting close to my home, my mother-in-law brought my wife and daughter out to set, and Shirley MacLaine was very generous and said, well, just come to my trailer and hang out with me. So we come to the trailer, and Shirley MacLaine reaches out to my daughter and says, give me a handshake. And my daughter, who was 7 at the time, gives her a handshake, and Shirley MacLaine goes, that's not a handshake. Give me a handshake. So my daughter's now like trying not to get upset. She like reaches out and gives her another handshake, and Shirley MacLaine's like, that's still not a very good handshake. And I was like, oh my God. So I'm like, Hannah, just really grab her hand really hard. And Hannah's like, all right. And so she just reaches out and grabs Shirley MacLaine's hand as hard as she can. And Shirley MacLaine's like, that's a good handshake.
Oh, that's awesome.
So the best part is at the end, we go through all this, and we have lunch with her, and she, again, very sweet and generous. And we go home, and I'm like, oh, what'd you think about meeting Shirley MacLaine? She's like, my daughter just goes, she's not very nice. So, she wasn't fond of the handshake. And to this day, that's what she remembers about Shirley MacLaine.
That's crazy. That's a great memory.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So.